Hello everyone and welcome to episode 3 of TCD. I understand that if you're watching on YouTube, I am in a very different place than usual. I'm at my normal streaming setup, as most of you would know, mainly because I'm sick and I just didn't feel like moving everything, but also I have people coming over soon and I just didn't want to be a whole certified mess, as they would say. If those of you that are new here, the way this works, currently I'm also live talking in Discord to a couple of friends that can hear me, and I'm gonna be a certified yapper for a little bit and, talk my piece. And then I will open the floor to anybody that wants to quote unquote call in or tap in and give their opinion or ask questions, etc., etc. But throughout this whole thing, I will also be reading the Discord chat. In case anybody has anything they want to get out while I'm talking. I'm going to make sure that I'm looking at that periodically as well. Today's topic is going to be women in gaming and esports. This will obviously be very centered around my personal opinion and my personal experiences as being a woman, at least last time I checked, in the esports and gaming space. But yeah, I guess we'll hop right into it. We unfortunately didn't have an episode last week, so I'm excited to do this one now. And I asked the Discord before we started if they were a potato, what potato they would be. Personally, I think I'd be a potato wedge. As somebody said, McDonald's French fry. I think we all know how I feel about that one. Somebody said those thick cut potatoes. Those are really good. I just feel like if they're not seasoned right, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? Anyway, potatoes are the best food. That's all I have to say. Now let's jump right into it. So I don't know if you guys have been on Twitter a lot recently. At least I've been seeing a couple of things about women in the gaming industry. I think it was in like the Apex scene or something. Somebody made a really rude comment about being about the women being, I forgot the word they used, but basically just like something to look at on the screen. And, obviously many of the women on that stream took offense and, tweet about it. And it was like, if I'm just something for you to look at on the stream, because I've gotten those comments a lot too. I've gotten, well, if I'm just there to sit, I'm there to sit and look good and pretty, you know what, at least I'm collecting a bag while doing it. Although I really doubt that's the case. I mean, I'm not going to complain about, just being something nice to look at and, maybe once in a while listen to the things I have to say as well. But the misconception of like what it takes and like the job requirements to be on an esports broadcast is like, do you think they just like looked into a crowd at a gaming convention and was like, yeah, that person's diverse enough to throw on the desk. I don't care about if they even have crumb of the skill set that we need. They just have to look like the NPCs on Twitter, Reddit, YouTube chat, Twitch chat, like will always get me with those things. Cause it's just like, have you never gone to a job interview? Have you never like applied yourself to like, I don't know, get a career? Because it's just looking good, unfortunately, is just not how that works. It's like models don't just look good. Like they know how to model. They know how to walk. Like it's beyond just looking nice. Same with actors and actresses. Like you don't get a job just because you're attractive. You get it because you're good at your job, because you're a good actor, you're a good actress. Our hosts get our jobs because they're good hosts. They're good at their job. I have my job as an analyst because I'm good at my job. Just because I happen to be easier on the eyes, like doesn't mean I'm not good at my job or know how to do my job. Unfortunately, you don't get a paycheck just for genetics and DNA and all that really superficial stuff. But again, people like that, I like to just say they're NPCs that just aren't real people. But I think this is a really good topic, especially for me to talk on because of the WXC. And for those of you that don't know what the WXC is, it's Women X Call of Duty. It is a all women's tournament that I founded last year in early April to May-ish, and we did 2 seasons in the previous game. And most of the feedback was really positive. Most of the community reception was really positive. But funny enough, like one of the biggest roadblocks I think that we hit with the WXC wasn't the NPCs on Twitter are all, why do women need their own league or whatever? And you know what? If you are thinking that question in a non-incel way and just actually don't know the answer, the reason I founded the WXC was not to be a pipeline to go from, the WXC to the CDL. Like that's just not what I had in mind. For me and my team and the people that worked behind it, our entire goal with the WXC was to just give women a space to be comfortable and get better and practice and cultivate their talents. The reason why it has to be an all-women tournament and an all-women space is because, in the simplest terms, when a man and a woman enter the competitive gaming scene, the man will never be turned away from a team because of his gender. It really is just that simple. People like to try and make it more complicated than it is, but a man will never face discrimination in competitive Call of Duty over his gender. There will not be another man that tells another man that they can't team with them because they're a man. Where women will always be told by a majority that I can't play with you, you're a girl, or you're not good enough because you're a girl, or I can't take playing against a girl seriously. And I've had that happen to me a multitude of times. My first competitive game in Black Ops 4, thankfully, tens and stuff were really popular back then, so it was a little bit easier for me to hop into, just pick up scrims and things like that. But like actually getting a set team, there have been multiple situations where I had teammates tell me that, yeah, well, me and one other person are cool with teaming with you, but our third isn't, like majority of your team could be fine teaming with you, but if one of them isn't fine with it, then you're screwed, because at the end of the day, even though those two teammates are fine playing with you, they'll probably value that third teammate that happens to be a guy's, I guess, spot on the team more than yours. Even if you think you're better than them, or you've proven that you're better than them, they're still, even though they try to be on your side or not be misogynistic or sexist, like they still are in some way, because most of the time they will choose that third guy over choosing you and replacing them. They rather replace the girl than replace the dude. And, I've had people even when I did get on a team, getting into scrims, I'd have the other team not take it serious or say they can't take it serious, or we would be mid scrim. And if we were winning or if I was doing well, the other team would leave the scrim in the middle of it. It would be in the middle of the scrim, in the middle of a map, just because they, quote unquote, can't take it serious. Or they suddenly have something else that they have to do that they committed to. Or, oh, well, so-and-so's internet went out. Like, just a million excuses when, like, what the reasoning is. Or they'll be blatant about it and say, I can't take it serious playing against a girl, blah, blah, blah. This isn't good practice. I'm not even trying. Anything to make it not seem that way. And so for the WXC, that is hopefully to obviously eliminate all of those issues, because, again, a woman typically won't tell other women, hey, you can't team with us because you're a girl. Honestly, I wouldn't be shocked if that's happened, but, I would like to hope more times often than not that wouldn't happen. But one of the biggest roadblocks, getting back to that, with the WXC, weirdly enough, was with the girls themselves, which really hurt my heart in a way. Like the community feedback was great. It was just trying to get the girls to take it seriously, I guess, in a sense, and, actually try to, I guess, in a way, protect their image and protect the girl scene image and cultivate and build it up. There is some stigmas around the women's gaming scene and competitive scene, being kind of cliquey and having a lot of drama. And, unfortunately, to an extent, that is going to be true. It's going to be true with anything. But the biggest problem was because so many eyes were on the women's scene at that time and on what we were doing. Guys create drama on the timeline just as much as girls do, The only reason people point more at the girls' drama is because, again, it's because it's the girls doing it. It's because it's a smaller community of women as well. So, it's the same people in the same circles. And me and my team tried so hard. We tried so hard to try and get that across to these girls. In no way did I ever want to control them or feel like they couldn't be themselves. But because so many eyes were on it, because we already get picked apart every time, something slightly negative happens, like, we tried so hard to be like, guys, please, like, if you have an issue, come to us, try not to go on the timeline right away. Come straight to us. and we'll handle it. We'll handle this behind closed doors. You're valid in whatever the way that you feel, but please give us an opportunity to handle it before the community tries to blow it out of proportion. And unfortunately, there were a lot of girls that were able to, handle that. I'd like to say a lot of them did amazing and were passionate and put the work in and showed up every day. But it was the select few girls that might have had a little bit more influence in the gaming community that just didn't want to listen, or, and I'm going to get, a little bit personal in this part of like, I feel like for some reason the girl scene disliked me during that era. Even now, I got screenshots of, DMs of them talking about me and WXC and my team and how it was going to die and yada, yada, yada. I don't know what I did to them or why, they had, those sort of feelings towards me. I tried my best to just stay neutral and did what I had to do, because I love the girl scene from the bottom of my heart. I love women in esports. Every time I get to meet another woman in esports, whether it's a producer, whether it's a host, whether it's a camera operator, whether it's a makeup artist, like it's so liberating, and it makes me feel so much more comfortable in the space. Not that my coworkers or anybody makes me feel uncomfortable, but it's just a different type of like feminine womanhood, girl coded thing to, be around and other women and be able to share that space with, more and other women as the years go on. But yeah, it was just that was our biggest hurdle. And what we're struggling with now is that, those few girls that may have had bigger influence in the community, instead of coming to us and instead of, talking to us about problems, they went to the timeline, or they blew stuff out of proportion, and even some of them just spread it in misinformation. And it's really disheartening. It's extremely disheartening, especially now as I'm fighting for the women's scene. Almost every single day I'm sending an email, or I'm trying to make a phone call, trying to, make this thing bigger, even bigger than it was last year. And it's hard because we weren't able to contain it like I was hoping we would be able to last year. We weren't able to contain the way the girls reacted. And again, I'm not like specifically mad at the girls scene because of that stigma, because again, the guys scene has their fair share of drama every single day. I mean, we literally saw some SEL players get into it the other day on Twitter, like they do all the time. But like we have to be better, and we have to control ourselves and have more self-control in the girls scene, because again, fingers get pointed at us so much quicker and so much easier. And every time the girl scene is brought up, and it just gives more fuel to be like, oh, well, they're nothing but drama, and they blah, 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 and they do this, and they do that. Nobody says the guy scene, like that's not like a word. It's just the COD scene. But the girl scene, there's always going to be that separation. All the girls are having drama again, or they're going at it again, yada, yada, yada. And I understand that some girls might feel like, well, we shouldn't have to change, or we shouldn't have to control ourselves. And you know what? To an extent, you're right. Like, I don't think we should have to conform, because it's not fair. Me being the first woman analyst or whatever, that's not fair. There's plenty of women before me that knew a hell of a lot about COD. Dream Crazy, shout out. And it's not fair. But unfortunately, like I have had to say multiple times in a lot of interviews, somebody has to be the first, and somebody has to be the second. Somebody has to be the third and the fourth and the fifth. And then maybe eventually, somewhere down the line, there's actual true equality, which, pipe dream, maybe it'll never happen. But there has to be the people that, suck it up and do it. It has to be the ones that, make that choice to try and force ourselves into the space, to create space for other women to easily occupy. And I just, my only regret is not being able to convince every girl last year that played in the WXC that, and convince them of that, I guess, belief or that notion. Because now, feels like we're right back at step one and we're struggling all over again. I couldn't tell you how many more girls I saw in the girls scene last year during the WXC. It felt like the girls scene had quadrupled. I felt like there was new girls coming in every day, and I literally couldn't be happier. I'm literally, oh my God, I'm like tearing up thinking about it. Like I felt like it grew so much, and it's rough because obviously every day right now I get asked, when's women's COD League coming back? Even though it's not women's COD League, it's just a women's tournament. Please don't strike me, Activision. But like it's really disheartening from a competitive side of thing, and trying to be somebody that helps the girls scene, because I love it. I do. The WXC last year was all not all. It was a lot of out of pocket for me. Like I don't think even the girls understood like how much I put on the line for it. Like it was a lot of my neck on the line. It was thousands of dollars in logos and branding and production. It was countless meetings and emails with my bosses of why this was going to go okay and why it was okay for me to do. It was hours upon hours of, the few days I got off a week, which, even then I didn't really take off because I still would stream and I would play. So it was stressful. And, I'd do it all over again. And, I'll do it all over again if, I have to. So it's disheartening because, it feels like I'm fighting battles on both fronts. I'm fighting battles on the COD community scene, and I'm fighting battles on the COD comp girl scene on both ends. And, my reaction time's not fast enough for all that. But, like, every day, I'm sure you guys have seen, like, YouTube chat and stuff. And again, this is mostly just about, like, my experiences, my firsthand, and I'm sure a majority of this is very, very relatable, at least for women in the scene. I'm sure we've all gone through, a multitude of the same experiences, or at least similar. And, you guys have seen Twitch chat and YouTube chat. And for some reason, YouTube chat is worse. I don't look at it anymore, but, every once in a while I'll catch it just because, Puckett will have it open on the desk sometimes. And obviously I can't look at it during like when we're live, but there's a delay. So when we're on break, technically on the stream, it'll still show that we're on the desk, and he'll be watching the chat to react to something he said or whatever. And maybe I'll peep over and look. And those poor mods, they are hard at work every day deleting messages about me. And it's gross, guys. Like, it's fucking sickening. It's awful, Like, when I first started, the biggest gripe people had about me was my voice. Like, the way I sounded. Because it was too high. When I'm literally a woman, like, I get it. You haven't heard many girls' voices in your lives. But, like, they were upset that my voice was too high. So what did I do? I tried to copy Miles, and I lowered my voice, and I tried to get like a broadcaster voice. I lowered my octaves a couple times. And, and I share the sentiment that when I first became a caster, I didn't know how to cast properly. I was thrown into it. Many of you know that story. If you don't know the story, long story short, I was a competitor. They brought me up for an interview, and I shocked them by knowing the game, even though I was competing. And they asked me to cast a couple months later, and I was thrown into it. Literally 4 days before the event, they asked me, "Hey, do you want to be a caster? Like, do you want to come cast Anaheim?" I was like, I'm not going to say no, but I've never done it before. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. And so I did what I could, which was just talk about the game. Because, I did know the game. I knew the game in and out. I had unholy amounts of hours in Black Ops 4. I knew the game inside, outside, left, right, up, down. And I was really good at it. And so I did my best when casting just to talk about the game. And, and I messed up plenty of times. We've all seen the Seaside clip. Please, God, I'll never live it down. I can laugh at it now, obviously. Because I know back then, I was thrown into it. I knew it was my first time doing it ever. Of course, I was going to sound a little ridiculous. Of course, I probably should have gotten some training beforehand, but I don't know what the situation was. All I know is 4 days before an event, I was given a job, and I went and I did that job to the best of my ability of not having any experience other than just knowing the game, other than just being a player, literally. And they kept asking me to come back, and I tried to get better, and I did get better. If I was to cast right now, I'm just saying, like, what I mean? I'm crazy at it now. But that's because I've been doing it now for like 3 years or 4, 5. I've been doing this since I had just turned 19 and I'm 2019, so 4 years, almost 5. And that's crazy to think about. And guys, 5 years later, people still type like this. Like, you'd think they would have gotten used to me by now. 5 years later, okay? And I'm still getting comments about my knowledge on the game. And because I'm a woman that I don't know, and I'm, just a pretty face on the screen for people to look at. For 5 years, I still get the same comments. Mods still have to work overtime to delete chat. Like, that is insane to me. 5 years, and it's the exact same. Do you realize how many hours that is? Can you imagine? We are live for 6 months out of the year, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, probably like 5 to 6 hours a day. For 5 years, I've been getting the same comments on YouTube or Twitch chat every single broadcast. That is crazy. And you want to hear something even more sickening? I want to say it was the year before last year, I believe 2022. At the end of the season, I got an email from the mod team. It was like a team of 5, okay? I'm going to cry thinking about it. Oh my God, I'm going to cry. And every one of them wrote me an individual message apologizing and saying how awful they feel every day having to read those comments and delete them, because obviously mods see everything. And so they have seen, I don't look at chat anymore for my own mental health, but the volumes it speaks that all 5 of them wrote me a personalized message in an email telling me that they were so proud of me and they think that I am so good at my job and that they are so sorry for the way people talk about me and the things that they say about me in chat. I sobbed that day. It's making me want to cry thinking about it. Again, I wasn't looking at YouTube chat by then, so or Twitch chat or whatever. So my mental health has been in a pretty good place just because I don't look, If I was, in their shoes and I was a mod reading all of that, about myself especially, guys, I'm going to be very candid here. You would probably have to put me into a hospital. If I had to sit there every day for hours on end and read that nasty shit about myself, you'd probably have to hospitalize me, because that is unacceptable. For 5 years, again, I will remind you, 5 years for 5 to 6 hours a day, every single time my face is on screen, there are messages like that. I couldn't even tell you a number of how many of them get deleted and how many of them accidentally make it through. I have gone back and watched YouTube VOD, and the chat is still all about me. And that's just because they probably couldn't keep up with the deleting. And if that doesn't already speak insane volumes on what it's like being a woman in esports, I don't know what else to tell you. And it was very sweet of them. You're right. It was it was crying because I was crying because, it was very touching. It was very emotional for me. And, I sent them an email back and, wrote every single one of their names out. It was like, thank you. This is insanely kind. I've never received anything like this, blah, blah, blah. And I'm sure we can all relate to this sentiment, is with stuff like that, with, NPC, Twitter trolls, whatever. Most people's go-to is just don't look at it, Oh, it's just not, just move on. Just don't interact with it. If you interact with it, it's just going to make it worse. When did we, as, a society, decide that, just not holding people accountable was the right way to handle people being fucked up people? Personally, I despise that notion. Don't get me wrong, I'm an avid Twitter blocker. I think we've all seen that. I'm also apparently a bitch and I'm soft and I block people, whatever. You know what? I'm protecting my future peace and it's been pretty great so far, to be honest. I don't get really that many awful comments on Twitter anymore because I have majority of the assholes blocked. Like, I don't think people understand, or they think blocking is like them winning. Like, do you not realize you no longer exist to me? Like, you will never exist to me again. And if you do exist to me, it's because you made a new account, and that means you put the energy into making another account to go and hate on somebody else's life. You need a reality check. Like, you need to go stand in a mirror, because if you actually spent time on that, there's something wrong. Like, I hope you seek therapy. I hope you seek help. I hope your life gets better, because it has to be fucking horrible to do something like that. Not a single person I know is going around and hating on people online on the internet. I'm just telling you that right now. Not a single person. I know a very large group of lovely ass people, and I know not a single one of them is sitting online and seeing a post or a picture of somebody and saying, oh, you're an ugly fuck, or you're terrible at your job, you should get fired. Like, normal people see something like that and just go on with their day. Like, they don't have the urge to interact with it. They don't have the urge to spew their shitty opinion to the world. You know what I'm saying? Like, most people just be like, oh, all right, like, I'm going to keep scrolling. Like, never once have I had the urge of, like, seeing somebody like post a selfie on the timeline or something and being like, damn, I want to comment so bad on this and tell them how much they suck. Like, I've never had that urge. I want to assume most normal people do not have that urge. So again, that is a special breed. I like to call them NPCs, Twitter NPCs. But I will say, I hate the notion of just not holding people accountable for being bad people. And it literally happened. It happened to me, I think literally today, when I posted a selfie today with the quote, my name's Rosalie, my favorite flower is gardenias, what about you? Like, just something stupid. And for those of you that don't know, my legal name yet is not Rosalie. I have been in the legal process to change it. It's just really difficult because I travel a lot for work, and getting all those legal documents changed in time to not interfere with me traveling for work is really difficult to time. So I've had to put it off for the past 2 years, and I'm hoping to maybe do it during this off season. But I really don't like my legal name. I don't really feel like it's me. And so a majority for the past 3 years, I've been going by Rosalie. Most of my IRL friends call me Rosie, and people in the COD scene call me Allie, because Alley Cat naturally. I went with Rosalie because I have a rose tattoo on my arm, and at the end, I think it's a really pretty name, and at the end, it's Rose Allie. I can still kind of make that excuse when people ask about my legal name, and it will be changed to Rosalie, that I can be like, oh yeah, well, I got Alley Cat because Rose Allie still a nickname technically. Yes. Anyway, somebody commented, a screenshot of my Forbes thing, which already, if you're trying to roast somebody or be an asshole, screenshotting their Forbes 30 under 30 article isn't really going to do it for you. I'm going to be honest. You've already failed. You've already failed. But they screenshotted my Forbes article and replied under the tweet saying, yeah, your name's Rosalie, whatever. Like a horrible start. And so I responded, and I was like, I know it's difficult to understand nicknames exist or something. Just something kind of stupid and petty. Just I understand it's hard to understand what nicknames are, because Allie's a nickname. It's not actually my legal name. So he's lost on both sides. It's already what are we getting at here? Allie's not my legal name either. So what are we doing? And he double responded. And again, if you have to double respond to a tweet, you've already lost. People who double respond, you lost a long time ago. And it's just it's so stupid, and something like that, people just ignore it, blah blah blah. Well, first I was correcting somebody trying to say that my legal name was Allie, which it's actually, it's not. The haters lost once you got put into Forbes.
I could imagine looking up, he had to look it up to get that screenshot, right? Like he had to close again. It's the lengths as well that people go to, right? It was a selfie on Twitter with a caption with my name and my favorite flower. And this guy's first thought was to close the app, open Safari, look up my name and Forbes 30 go to the gaming category, click my name, screenshot my name and my article, go back to the Twitter app, go back to my Twitter, go back to the tweet and reply with that screenshot with his, I'm sure it took him 5 minutes to come up with that response. Oh my God. Those people are not real. Those people actually genuinely scare me. A selfie made somebody do that. A selfie. Okay? And that is insane. That is insane. And it is, very likely that you see stuff like that happen to women in esports on a consistent basis. And it feels, at least for me, I feel kind of isolated because I don't, I feel like in most other esports, there are multiple women casters, there's multiple women hosts. But for me, the most women interaction that I get in the COD community is with my hair and makeup artist. Like that's my extent of like femininity in the circle that I'm in. And it's really isolating, and I get to see Lottie every once in a while, and sometimes we get to work the same events. And, and I love it. I love that time because, again, it's not that my coworkers make me feel uncomfortable. They do make me feel comfortable. They are very kind to me. They've never made me feel uncomfortable for, being a woman. But there's an age gap, and there's still just, there's still that divide of, there's, the guys and then the singular girl, and they've always made me feel included. I'm always invited to stuff, but it's just different, being around women, being in feminine energy. My male audience, and I know you can understand this because being around women is great. I love women. I love feminine energy. They're amazing. And I also enjoy that. So, every once in a while I get to be around Lottie, and it's unreal. We get to gossip and we go eat together and we go eat what we want to eat. Because, guys, a lot of times we'll be out in the city and they'll just be like, you know what? Like, let's just go eat wherever. Let's just go to a sports bar. Me and Lottie are like, we're in a city, like, that we don't really get to go to that often. Like, let's go to a restaurant. Like, let's go, like, do something. So it's really refreshing when, Lottie is around every once in a while. But, majority of the season, I feel extremely isolated. And it's worse because, again, I feel isolated not only from, like, the COD community itself and being like the only girl, really. Don't get me wrong, we have a woman, I believe she's our graphics operator, and a couple that work in sound as well at Esports Engine. But again, we're not in the same space, like we're not, when I'm in the green room, like I can't go talk to them. So like we're technically not really in the same space. But even the girl community, I feel isolated from that. Like I have one really close friend in the girl COD community. I think we all kind of know who that is. But like even she has moved on to playing a lot more Warzone recently, just because of the way the community has been. I think she's one of the best players, as the best, woman player I've ever played with and had the pleasure of watching. And even she hasn't given up, but she's tired of trying to get on a team. I mean, hell, she was on Zuma's Challengers team for a little bit, and yet she still struggled to get a roster, to get people to stay and play with her. Because again, they like to say if a girl was as good as Shotzi, she would just get picked up. Like, no, that's just not how it works. Because one, we're not given the space to cultivate our talent. So if we did have the talent of Shotzi, Shotzi still plays the game every single day at the highest level, scrimming, and before he was a pro, I'm sure doing the same thing, scrimming against some of the higher level players at that time every single day. He didn't just wake up and decide to be freaking cracked at COD at the level that he's at right now. Same thing. Girls aren't just waking up being cracked at COD, but we don't get to scrim every single day consistently, and we don't get, the same high tier players to play against, or players in general to play against, because half of it's, sifted out by, I'm not playing with a woman. I'm not playing against a woman. I can't take playing against a girl seriously. For those of you in my stream, it literally happened the other day. I'm playing BPL 8s. It was my first time playing the game in a month, and I hop into one of the queues, and before I even loaded into the map, before I even got to put my hands on my controller and why my gun at the countdown screen, I had my teammates literally making fun of me and calling me a bitch and like not speaking to me and laughing. And then they get mad when I didn't drop 30 kills. What? Like the average woman experience. And, you know, and then I talk about it, and I talk about that experience because it was fucking horrible. I mean, the whole map, I'm getting called a bitch, and what the fuck is she doing? And they're laughing when they're on my POV and just saying random shit. Again, to be fair, I wasn't playing very great. I hadn't touched the game in a month. I was trying to get back into the groove by playing a free 8 series, by the way. And I wasn't even given the opportunity because nobody's going to play good when their own teammates are literally degrading them mid-map. And, like, it terrified me. I never want to join that queue again now because, like, I do not want to be around those people ever again in my life. Like, absolute nobodies. A guy had top 250 in his Discord bio. What are you, Joe Deceives? Yeah, that's going to work out for you, pal. I'm sure. But, like, and then yesterday, I hop into another queue, and I have people on the other team saying, oh, you got a female on your team, GG's. Like, they actually typed that out and hit send in a public Discord with thousands of people, with professional players in it that can see those chats. And they actually typed that out and hit send and thought that they cooked, like, and thought it was funny. And yes, I absolutely proceeded to 2-0 World Star smack the other team and win that series. Thanks for the SR. And the second I called them out on it, it's, deleted message. Or I was just trolling. Or I wasn't trying that hard. Or I dropped 30 kills. It doesn't matter that you won. Come on. Average everyday experience. But then, you know, you talk about it and you get people on Twitter saying, oh, well, you're just soft, or you would never survive in old Call of Duty lobbies. Do you not realize that girl gamers, like, we still play the game when we were younger, too, for the most part. There are obviously newer ones, but I grew up playing COD. I had a PS3, I had a PS4, I had an Xbox 360. Like, I played since I could hold a controller. I know what the original lobby sounded like. Trust me. I wasn't in voice chat. Of course, my dad wouldn't let me. I was a kid. I was 9 playing Modern Warfare 2. But yes, of course I heard him. Does that make it okay? No. Did we laugh at those people because they were fucking ridiculous and probably had anger issues? Yes. Of course. Just like we laugh at people now who just have horrific takes and say weird shit all the time. Doesn't mean they shouldn't be called out or held accountable. And it doesn't make anybody soft. No, I'm sorry. Somebody literally checking, like, my vibe, trying to play the game is, like, not cool. I'm sorry for holding them accountable for being shitty human beings. That's not me being soft. Because guess what? I'd turn around and call them a bitch too. Like, I had to look up Forbes 30 under 30 to roast me, and he failed. Trust me, I'm great when it comes to shit talk. I'll hand it right back to you. But the problem is, as well, when I hand back to them, suddenly I'm a bitch. You know what I'm saying? For those of you that have Twitter, you've seen my reactions, you know. I got burner accounts out the wazoo saying, she always responds with such an attitude. She's such a bitch. As if somebody didn't just purposely try to come at my neck. Literally, if you go to that tweet, the selfie tweet again, and go to that guy's reply where he screenshotted the Forbes 30 under 30 thing, there's a burner account that responded after I responded to the guy and was like, hey, I guess we just don't know what nicknames are or whatever. He responded, so like a burner account responded saying, she always replies with such an attitude. She's such a bitch, blah, blah, blah. Like, what's her problem? Oh my God. Like, you can't win. I feel like I'm reciting the Barbie movie monologue right now by America. like, I'm not allowed to interact with it and call it out. And if I do interact with it, call out or be upset, then I'm too soft. And then if I respond with the same heat, I'm a bitch. Or I'm not a good person. Or I stir drama. There's that one too. I'm just a drama starter, guys. Defending myself or, calling people out is just starting drama. Oh, I've always hated that connotation. I've always hated that, like, defending yourself is never going to be drama. I refuse to believe that is drama. I think drama is, like when people are spreading, rumors or he said, she said, yeah, sure. But when somebody says something shitty and you're like, hey, that was shitty, go fuck yourself, that's not drama. Like, and people that call it that or just, ignore it or just like, whatever, just another day in the COD community, like it's literally bystanders. Like it's literally, you're not helping the problem. I think in certain situations, yeah, you shouldn't interact. Like in certain situations, it's just a block and go, especially burner accounts, it's a block and go. Like they lost the second they had to create a second account to, I just had a stroke. They lost the second they had to go make another account to type and spew their hate on. Their lives are miserable. Block and go. I agree. Block and go. But there are some people, maybe that are bold enough to type on their little fingers and just fucking say some of the most heinous shit I've ever seen. Like some of the worst takes. And yeah, I want to hold those people accountable. I'm probably going to block them after too. I'm going to say my piece, roast the fuck out of them, and hit the block button. Double whammy. And that should be okay. Like, that's fine. The bar meanwhile, you have to answer for men's bad behavior, which is insane. But if you point that out, you're accused of complaining. You're supposed to stay pretty for men, but not so pretty that you tempt them too much or you threaten other women because you're supposed to be part of the sisterhood. I'm a girl's girl until the day I die, the other day, I was literally in Twitch chat saying, if your girlfriend tells you to unfollow my Instagram or something, you should do it. Fuck it. Like, you'll still see me on CL broadcast. I'm not going anywhere. Maybe pop into my Twitch stream. If your girlfriend says unfollow me on Instagram, you do it. Because, technically, I'm a nobody. I'm just some gal who enjoys COD. You know what I'm saying? And I'd be posting selfies and I'd be posting fit pics, and if you got a girlfriend who's uncomfortable with that, she is right, and she is always going to be right, period, blank. And if you can convert her to being a fan of mine, I would love that, because I really want to have a majority female audience. I love you guys. I do. Don't get me wrong. I love my men. I love my boys, because I know all the men in my community are, at least as far as I can tell, and as far as, behavioral wise that I've studied for the past couple of years, have been incredible people and have been very well-rounded people and very well, good mentally, and for the most part, very respectful to women, very respectful to me. So, don't get me wrong. I love my men. I love my guys. I love my boys in my community. We're girls, guys. Yes. Yes. Facts. And we're all on the same page about getting fucking rid of weird fucks out of our community fast as hell. I believe people show you who they are very, very, very early. I tell you guys in Twitch chat, it takes one message for people to show you who you are. And the second you shut them down after that one message, you guys have seen it. Somebody will come in and they'll say something kind of out of pocket. And I'll, all of us, honestly, not just me, we'll all kind of set them straight after that first message. And you can always tell it's that second message if we should keep them around or not. And that second message is either like, oh, I'm sorry, like it was a joke, or it was a joke. You know what I'm saying? Or it was a troll. Like, why are you freaking out? Calm down. Bang, gone, out of here. See you. People show you who they are very, very quickly, especially when you stop them in their tracks and say that you disagree with something they did. That instant reaction will tell you all that you need to know about somebody. Bang, gone. You know what I'm saying? My goal, honestly, is have a majority female audience. I would love that. Oh, it's so hard, though, because I'm starting in COD Esports, which is also why a lot of women end up leaving esports, because it's hard to grow here. It's hard, You know, again, you're very isolated. And that's why I take up so many psychotic hobbies. I'm never going to leave COD. That will never happen. I'm obsessed with Call of Duty. I love it. I breathe it. You know, I don't think I could ever leave. But a lot of women leave the COD scene. You guys have seen it, especially higher up in the broadcast section, even just in the girls that try to play it competitively. Majority of them leave. You know, they go to other games. We can see them all. You know, it's still Call of Duty, but a lot of them migrating over to Warzone. You know, we've lost a lot of people internally, you know, to other games and other job positions. You know, the few women that were here when I first got hired, you know, they've all moved on to bigger, better things. And, you know, I'm happy for them. I'm elated for them. But it's, you know, I can't help but feel like it's just because it's so hard. It's so hard to expand. It's so hard to grow in this space. And, you know, and that's why I'm, you know, you guys, I'm learning so many weird ass hobbies just so I can stay in COD, but still be growing, you know? That's why, you know, I'm streaming on Twitch all the time. That's why in the off season I'm playing different games. That's why I'm trying to stream on Twitch in real life. That's why I'm trying to do cooking stream. That's why I'm vlogging. It's why I'm learning another language, because being a bilingual streamer would be really helpful. And it's why I'm taking Taekwondo, because I can create more content with Taekwondo, because it will be a skill that I can make content out of. It's why I'm taking pole dancing. It's another skill that I can make more content out of, you know, that I can pull out of, you know, my bag of tricks and, you know, my hat of random ass things that I know how to do. All of that is why I'm making an apparel brand, you know. It's why I made music. It's all of these random things to try and expand my community and my reach so that I can continue to grow, and my community and you guys can continue to grow. Because, you know, if I was just staying as an esports analyst, like as a COD analyst, like I wouldn't move past where I am. Like where I am right now, like I wouldn't be moving past it. I would be sitting where I'm at currently, and it wouldn't go any further. And I know that, and I know that very well, because at this point the community has already been sifted, you know, of the people that like me and the people that don't like me. Like that separation's basically already been made after my first year. COD is growing, but it's not growing at, you know, in a very large rate. And right now we're sitting on, you know, all very diehard, very involved fan base currently. I feel like we don't really have like a casual fan base right now. I feel like majority of our fan base are people who are really, really into COD and really into watching in the way they would like NFL or something. And that's why, at least in my head, I feel like that separation's already happened, and that's why I'm stagnant on, or I would be stagnant if I wasn't trying to grow elsewhere. Which I don't, you know, obviously want that to happen. I promised my dad that I would make $1 million. Like I'd be a millionaire. So I'm an idiot for making that promise, because now I have to work really, really hard, which I already do. But it's another one of those things about, you know, being isolated in the COD scene as kind of the only girl, not literally the only girl, but as I explained earlier, you know, just being in the green room. It's me and my makeup artist, Rahela. She's actually coming over tonight. We're doing a little girls' night, a little spa night. Our makeup artist is coming over. Nameless's wife is coming over, and my best friend is coming over. And we're going to do little face masks and all that cute stuff and order Chinese food. But, yeah. But I don't really know what the ending point, I guess, on this topic was. I guess it was a lot of just talking about mine and, you know, the women's experience and esports and stuff, but girls have always been playing games, you know, and even the girls that play Animal Crossing is still a video game. Do we know? I don't think we understand what the definition of video game is. Like, it's a game on, I don't even know the actual definition, but I'm assuming the definition is literally a game on some type of console device or video, like, you know what I mean? Video game, like, it's not that hard to break down. Video game's definition is not first person shooter. You know what I mean? Like, that is not the definition of a video game. Clash of Clans, I mean, I guess it's more of a mobile game, but like, it's still a video game. You know what I'm saying? Like, Pac-Man's a video game. So why is Animal Crossing not considered a video game? Why is Stardew Valley not considered a video game? Why is Sims 4 not considered a video game in the misogynistic eyes? You know what I'm saying? Tell me what makes Pac-Man so much more cool than Animal Crossing. I can kick villagers out in Animal Crossing. I can neglect them and hit them with a net. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just such a silly logic of like, oh, well, you're not really a gamer because I bet you play Sims 4. Or I bet you play City Skylines. Hell yeah, I do. Hell the fuck yeah, I do. And you know what I do in those goddamn games? I make torture traps. Okay? I try to make the biggest highway impossible to cause as many crashes as possible in City Skylines. I make the steepest hill with no way out. Okay? I don't give them water. And I put them right next to the pollution site in City Skylines. It gets dark. It gets scary in City Skylines, sometimes by accident. Anyway. But, like, Animal Crossing people be like, what the fuck? We haven't seen you in 3 years when I went back. Honestly, real. I'm a time skipper. I'm going to be honest. If you haven't listened to Fuck by Rosie on Spotify, I'm making an Animal Crossing reference in it. You know what I'm saying? It's a little self-plug. I misunderstood the self-plug. You're on my YouTube channel or you're in my Discord. But, you know, same thing. But, like, that's also really stupid. Because, again, like, what's the difference? Ooh, you play COD and FPS shooters. You're a cool gamer. You know what? I bet you drop 8 kills a game in a pub. Sit down. It's always the not good one. But, you know, and people always assume, you know, I do like the stigma of, like, it's always the people that are really bad at the game that are the misogynistic, sexist assholes. Which, like, majority of the time that is true. You know, I've never had a good player be sexist to me. You know what I mean? Like, I've never had somebody that I couldn't beat be an asshole to me. But that's only because, and, you know, unfortunately, it's a really tough truth to think about, is that's because, you know, some of them are probably smarter than to be, you know, public about it, you know, or, you know, they might have a slight feeling of, you know, that stigma or separation but not consider themselves, you know, being sexist or misogynistic, you know. But unfortunately, like, it's really ingrained. It really is. I'm sure there's plenty of higher tier players that still would be like, oh, I have to play with a girl, or oh, there's a girl on my team. And, like, they might not say it out loud or, like, really mean it. But unfortunately, like, a lot more people think that way than you think. You know, just because you don't think that way or don't think you think that way, a majority of the COD scene, at least, definitely think that way. I'll be able with a girl and have her go in voice chat. And like, like, if you're still not convinced, if you're still, go watch my stream when I play BBL8 one of these days. I'm sure you'll catch something. Watch one of my unbanned request videos. You know, like, it happens every day, all the time. All the time. And they'll never, internet's always so mind-blowing. They'll never say it to your face. They'll never say it. They'll never say it to your face. Not once at an event. I've had people ask me, like, oh, what's your craziest interaction with a hater? Like, nah, you guys are wild thinking people are actually saying that to my face. Hell no, they aren't. Absolutely not. They're saying, I had never once in my life had anybody come up to me at an event and say anything bad in my face. You know what? And if they do, you know, I'd love it. Because, you know what? At least they had the balls to do it, not behind a goddamn keyboard. But never once. People were shocked by that. I'm like, why are you shocked? They're spewing hate on the internet. Like, no normal person's doing that. They're probably not even people that go to events. They're probably one of the motherfuckers that are in the waiting line taking a picture with, you know, me and Ann and Puckett when we get off the desk to go walk back to the green room. I've had some weird interactions of that, you know, because I've had people come up and take a picture with me and, like, being really nice, and then they'll go and post our picture later and have the most heinous, and I mean heinous, caption you have ever read in your life. Like, disgusting shit, guys. I've had people take pictures with me and then go and post it later and be like, I stood so close to the love of my life. I wanna, and, like, just, like, heinous shit. Okay? And it has happened more than once. Ugh. And, like, realistically, again, when have you ever heard or seen that happening to a male player, male host, male analyst. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just being realistic. Men and women both have their struggles, whatever. This topic is specifically about women in esports and specifically about my experience. Like, when have you ever seen some shit like that? You know, maybe in a trolling sense, you know, maybe like whatever, but like just downright, like genuinely meaning some of the most creepiest, nastiest shit about somebody that you don't know, you know? And it's probably the same motherfucker that goes on my Twitter and, you know, says, you should quit your job and you look like blah, blah, blah. And you're there for, you know, whatever, just to be looked at, blah, 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 blah. Oh, well, thank you for thinking I'm that pretty that I could get paid this much money just to get looked at. You know, I got the comebacks at the ass. I will feed back the fire that you throw at me, but people can't handle it. And I quickly turn into a bitch. And you know what? And if I have to be a bitch, fuck it. I'll be a bitch. Because I'd rather be a bitch than let people, you know, be assholes and be the way that they are. Because I've very much grown in the past couple of years of like, at the end of the day, the people I care about don't think those things. You know, the people I care about don't say shit like that. You know, the people I go out of my way for will never be that way. So, like, at any point, like, I don't care about their opinion. I don't care if, you know, random people think I'm a bitch because they haven't done research. They haven't gone and watched a stream. They haven't sat here through a TCD episode and talked with me like you guys, you know? They know nothing about me. Not a single thing. They probably would spell my name wrong if you asked them. So at the end of the day, those people just don't matter because they're incapable of doing something for themselves or going out of their way and doing something for themselves. It's crazy that if you den females, you get called something. Yeah, and those people are toxic too. 100%. The simp thing, like, it was a joke at first, but now, like, you even call somebody pretty, bang, simp. Or you call somebody out on bad behavior, bang, simp. But I do have to say this. I do have to leave you with this. Is being called a simp on the internet really that bad for calling people out on their bad behavior? Is it really that bad that it stops you from defending a woman on the timeline? If people are capable of spewing, you know, misogynistic, horrific, sexist shit on the timeline, you are capable of being called a simp. Okay? Like, it's not that big of a deal. Oh, I think somebody just arrived. I've been talking really long about this topic. Hold on. I'm going to unlock my front door. Unlock. Hey, I unlocked the door. You can come in. Yeah, you're good. Sorry, I'm finishing up my podcast. Come on in. Oh, you're fine. But yeah, like, it's... No, it is a weird comeback. Don't get me wrong, Jagger. I completely agree with you, and I did not mean to point that at you at all. It was just a great place to kind of steer to that topic and be like, hey, you know, like, at the end of the day, is being called a simp really that bad? You know, like, is it really not worth it? Oh, getting called a white knight, you know, same thing. I promise you, it hurts much less than the mental of the girl being attacked. And I will tell you this, every time I see somebody, you know, and it's not often do I get people that, you know, will respond in defense to me. But when I see it, you have no idea how happy it makes me, because it makes me feel less alone. You know, it makes me feel less alone that, you know, what this person said is not okay. And we should hold these people accountable. And, you know, if I respond to it, usually I'm just going to get more hate, you know, I'm going to get called a bitch again or blah, 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 you know, just block them, ignore it, blah, blah, blah. You know, it means, you know, it's one thing for me to defend myself, but it means so much when, you know, other people also defend you. You know, it's taking that extra step. It's not being a bystander, you know, even if it's just the internet. Like, I get it. It's just the internet, blah, blah, blah. My job is the internet. You know, I have to be here. It's not by choice. I would not have Twitter, Instagram, not after being in this work, like, line of work, and knowing what I know and experiencing what I've experienced. God, do I wish I could just not have any of those things. But I have to now, because this is my career, this is my job. I love you guys. You know, I love what I do. This is just one of those things that comes with it. So, you know, when somebody else is able to take that extra step, it means the world. it means the world. I'm there. I'm on the internet because I have to be. At the end of the day. But if anybody now would like to say anything, add a piece, whatever. I went a little bit long. We're right at an hour right now, but I still want to open the floor if anybody has their 2 cents. Mello, I see you. I got you, girl. I got rid of the roll, so let me just. So I think I can just unmute you. Possibly. Maybe. Yes, I did it. Let's go. The
Can you
floor
hear
is
me?
all yours. Yes, ma'am, we can.
All right, I just wanted to say something quick. From being a girl and playing COD for years on end, I just want to say thank you for everything that you do for the community because there's even girls out there that are very, very toxic to other women. And it's sometimes even worse than the men. And it's really disheartening to get that from other females. And so, just for everything that you do and how you uplift other women, keep doing it, please, because we need more of it.
Well, and I'm crying.
And we love you.
Oh, well, thank you so much for that. I was not as I was expecting, but you're right. I mean, it's a battle. It's literally a battle on both sides. I think that's the hardest thing for being a woman in COD right now is literally it's a battle on both sides. Like you're fighting both the women in the COD community and men in the COD community. Hello, comrade. Yes, you can say something vocal. I got you. Let me unmute you. All right. I didn't do that right. I'm trying very hard. I learned it. There we go. Karma, the floor is yours.
Yeah, I just want to say I'm your biggest fan on Twitch, and what you have told, you have said, really touched me about about women with gaming and stuff like that. Uh, I mean, I think you told the truth. Yeah,
Well, thank you so much, guys.
yeah,
I appreciate the premium
and,
gas I'm getting right now.
yeah. And why can't I turn on my camera?
We don't have cameras on or anything. This is just voice. This is a podcast, so it's just voice recording.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, sorry about that. But if you do, for some reason, want to turn on your camera in any of the other channels, you are absolutely welcome to do so. Is that all that you wanted to say, comrade? I don't want to mute you in case you had more to say.
No, I think I just all I want to say is that I think that you're a strong woman, or you're a strong woman, and I just want to say good luck with everything. I know that the world may be tough, you live like in life, it could be really hard in life sometimes, and I just want to say that don't let your guard down and don't give up and just be who you are and just do things that makes you happy in life and just don't care what other things about you, you know.
So
That's all
real.
I want to say. Yeah.
Hell yeah. Thank you so much, comrade. Again, usually when I open the floor, it's, in case you had any opinions that you wanted to expand on or questions you wanted to ask. Both people that went on the floor just gave me premium gas, made me cry. But thank you. Thank you so much. And like Comrade said, I do hope, if anything you guys took away from this was either that you're not alone in the way that you're feeling for my girlies, and that, and we do appreciate those that come to our aid and those that, are not NPC rats. And or maybe you learned something about the women experience in esports. There's discrimination everywhere in the world. There's against men and women. Against races, against all this shit. And I don't want to feign ignorance to anybody's experience. It's just this obviously was a very specific topic about women in esports and specifically women in COD and our experiences. Thank you guys so much for sitting through this podcast with me. We've hit right a little bit over an hour, so thankfully it wasn't too long. Again, thank you to everybody in Discord. Every time I'm so super surprised about the amount of people that join live and are sitting in here. But thank you guys so much, and I will hopefully catch you next time. This has been episode 3, and until episode 4, fuck it, we ball. Until next time, bye.